Breaking right now, Americans celebrate this weekend the incredible news that 5 of our fellow Americans would be freed from Iran. But one family, well, devastated by the news, and frankly, I don't blame them. Their family member was left behind. Where is former FBI agent Bob Levinson? Christine Levinson, Bob's wife, and Dan Levinson, Bob's son, go on the record. Good evening to both of you. And Christine, I have to say, when I first got word, I said, is there any news on Bob Levinson? And there's absolutely no news. Did they call you and tell you anything? The State Department call you about Bob when this happened?
They called me after I was in touch with them, telling them that I had heard about the releases of the other hostages that morning when my daughter called and I saw it on TV.
Well, your husband is missing, Dan, your father, since 2007. And Dan, I don't believe for 1 second, I don't know what you guys think, but I don't believe for 1 second that Iran doesn't know where your father is or what happened to him. What's your reaction to this tonight, Dan?
I couldn't agree with you more. In April of 2007, just a couple of weeks after my dad went missing, the Iranian state media reported that he was in the hands of Iranian security forces. It's a small island. My mom and I went there in December 2007. And if you told me that they have no idea what happened, they see everything that's going on there. It's a 5-minute drive from his hotel to the airport. There's only one entrance in and out of the airport. And in a security state like Iran, on a small island like that, and you're telling me that they don't know where he is, and the fact that the U.S. government has pledged to cooperate with them in locating him is nonsense to us, because they need to do more than that. They need to demand Iran release him and return him home to us, and do more than what they're doing.
You know, Christy, I feel a little bit frustrated. On the one hand, I'm grateful that, for the President and Secretary Kerry and the others home, because I know their families, but I know your family too. And I don't understand why it was that they didn't insist as part of this deal that they give information about your husband. I mean, there was even a proof of life about 3 years ago, wasn't there, that Bob was still alive 3 years ago?
It was actually 2010, late 2010 and 2011 that we received pictures and video.
Well, I mean, where was he supposedly when they gave that proof of life? I mean, they must have, look, Iran knows what's going on with them. They know something. I mean, do you have any information who was holding your husband at that time?
Nothing. We have still no information on his where-being or who has him.
It seemed pretty clear that whoever was sending us those was covering their tracks to make it ambiguous. We don't know exactly where he is, but we believe that the Iranian government knew where he was when he was abducted and wherever he ended up being.
All right. Well, it enrages me that you get treated, I think, poorly, so disrespectfully. They didn't call you first with the announcement. But let me have Christine or Dan, have either of you talked to Secretary Kerry? If so, when was the last time?
I have spoken to Secretary Kerry. The last time was last Tuesday, before the hostages were released.
And he said what?
That they would continue to work on Bob's case.
Well, I do not understand. Of course, I'm not doing the negotiations, but I do not understand why they didn't demand that information, and I do not understand why Iran is so cruel, because I do believe they know all of it. But I will pledge to you, we've been on this for years, and we'll continue to try to get you information. And I thank both of you for joining us, and I'm terribly sorry. I know you're happy for the other families, but I'm terribly sorry for you.
You've been so great about this and keeping this in the public eye, and that's so important to us. So thank you so much for continuing to keep us on here.
Thank you.
Thank you both.